Hey everybody, happy Friday to everybody. Someday we'll get a cooler intro to that, to the show, but at least we got cool new banners, top and bottom, U.S. Assassin, but we're not here to talk about us. We're here to talk about Mr. Clayton down there and his brother.
Hey guys, what's up?
And we're here to talk about, was it the last 30 hours of Kozar?
Yeah, let's take a look here. The last 31 hours of the Kozar campaign. So we're getting to the finish line, guys.
Yeah. All right. Let me pull up this campaign here real quick. Someday I'll be faster at this. All right. Boom. Everyone see that?
Ooh, nice.
Can you guys see it?
Beautiful. I can see it. I can see it.
Okay. That's just, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Yeah. I love it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So 32 hours, 325 backers, 18,855. Come on, guys. We can. This book, this level of detail should be double that easily. Yeah. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play the trailer, which means I'm going to have to unplug my headphones.
Kozar Descent into Madness features 43 full-color pages of intricately detailed art that tells a nightmare-fueled story of foul demons, abundant bloodshed, and the insidious corruption of a warrior's psyche. The story centers around a mighty warrior named Chief Barton and his clan of savage swordsmen who embark on a quest into the sacred swamplands of Nimla in search for the mysterious Faceless People, a race of submissive super soldiers who will balance out the odds in a ruthless war between man and demon. But when they're attacked by a flock of flying beasts, their journey proves more fatal than they could have ever imagined. In this campaign, backers get no less than the definitive edition of Kozar Descent into Madness, which comes complete with refined edits, additional story pages, retouched interior artwork, and new wraparound covers. If you're a fan of dark fantasy and medieval horror, this book is for you. Back Kozar Descent into Madness today, only on Indiegogo.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Let me plug back in here. All right. Were you guys able to hear that?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. That was an amazing trailer. I really like it because a lot of people, when they do their trailers, like the sound is kind of all over the place. But I liked how there was a point in the middle where like you stopped talking and then the music started to raise. And to me, that's polish, man. That's really cool. But I'm a nerd for music like that. I like most of my iTunes is sound scores and nonsense. But
totally. It was a great track, and there's a lot of wonderful websites out there where you can score premium but royalty-free music at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is machinimasound.com. So many great tracks there that you can check out.
Oh, cool.
But there's free ones on YouTube too.
I will definitely do that. And then I'll just have to figure out how to put it on stuff.
Yeah, you kind of have to time it with the dialogue.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to your tiers here. Featured is all 3 editions plus a poster.
Yeah. So this is our featured tier, of course, and it comes with the default definitive edition of Kozar, and I'll explain in a little bit why it's the definitive edition. And then we've got Corey's variant cover, my brother, and then we've got the black and white line art edition of Kozar Descent into Madness, and that's a really special version of the book that showcases just the line art with all the color taken out on both the cover and the interior pages. And when you got detailed, intricate artwork like this, it's a no-brainer. You've got to include an edition where the line art is put on the stage and it is able to shine on its own.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah, and then we've also got 3 A3 sized posters that come with this tier. And for those of you in the US, A3 is basically the equivalent of 11.7 by 16.5 inches. Okay, so it's quite big. It's about double the size of a regular size comic book, a little bit bigger than that. And it's shipped to you completely flat in basically the Australian version of the Gemini mailer. So even if the mailman kicks it to your door, it's going to get to you in pristine condition. No damage, no nothing. It'll be perfectly presented the way that I sent it off. So, and if by any chance, of course, it is delivered to your doorstep or scratched up and ruined, we'll send you another one. So just hit us up. We're easily accessible. That's the wonderful thing about these crowd-funded campaigns is you've got direct dialogue and communication with the creator of the book themselves.
Awesome.
All the books come signed by both Corey and I. You get a digital version of the book so you can reread it as many times as you want while still keeping that hard copy in mint condition.
Sweet. Just look, man, that image just...
You like it?
Yeah, I'm in love with it. Just the line work and the... And is he traditional or digital?
This is created all digitally, from the initial penciled sketch all the way through the inks and the colors. And, I know that you were saying you're a fellow fan of Top Cow and The Darkness, Witchblade, and that kind of thing. And that's our wheelhouse. That's exactly where we take our inspiration from, and we try to inject as much of it into our own work as possible. So Kozor has a very dark vibe to it. It's a medieval horror, dark fantasy. So if you like video games such as The Witcher or Dark Souls, if you like TV series such as Game of Thrones, this is going to be right up your alley. It's kind of a mix between Berserk and Conan. So if you mix those two together, this is what you're going to get.
Nice. And what's great is a lot of times, like with digital, just being an artist, there's like certain tells that if you look at it, you go, okay, yeah, that's digital. I totally thought this was done. And this, kudos to your brother. This, to me, totally looked like it was done by hand, that it was done by a quill, a dip pen. Just how, I mean, because there is with digital, I mean, if you're not, and I'm not trying to diss anybody, but there's some digital art that is just, it's very obvious that it was not done physically. This, I can't tell. And it really, I don't know, it's so astonishing. It's so beautiful, and just, man, just all the line, like even that just looks like somebody took a ruler with a crow quill and just went up by the axe here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful. He's an amazing artist.
Thanks, Matt. Well, actually, I did the cover up for him. At his request.
Well, then you're an amazing artist.
So yeah, I appreciate that, man. Look, we've both been doing this for a long time, and the wonderful thing about having a brother who's also a comic book artist is that you can bounce ideas off of each other. You can ask for advice and feedback on your work, and the two of us have really grown because of that over the years.
Okay, I feel like a complete ass now, but yeah, that's...
no, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Did you two sort of discover comics at the same time, or was one of you a fan first?
I think, probably I've led the way. I'm the older brother, so even when we were kids, Corey kind of followed suit with everything that I was doing. We've been best buddies for a very, very long time, and so what I was interested in, he was kind of interested in, but yeah, we both very much like the same kind of thing. Our art falls within similar genres. We're a big fan of titles such as Spawn, and we love the intense detail that Greg Capullo used to put into the first issues of that. We like that grungy appearance. We love the intricate aesthetic that those 90s image artists brought to their work, and we're trying to bring that back in Kozor as well. And as you take a look through the interior pages, you will see this Bernie Wrightson-esque vibe to the art, especially when looking at the interior black and white pages. And that's why the black and white artwork can really stand on its own. And in some cases, there are readers out there who are going to prefer that black and white version over the colored version, just because as wonderful as colors are and as much as they can enhance the artwork, sometimes they're overpowering and they can take away a little bit of the magic that line work held within it. And here's Corey, the man of the hour himself.
Hey,
The man,
finally back.
the legend. All right, cool. Whoops. All right, let's get back to the campaign here. All right, so let's see. Kozar 1 Definitive Edition for 35.
Well, that's 35 AUD. For those in the US, you get a lot cheaper than that for $25 USD, which is the standard price for a Comicsgate comic book, except you get something a little bit extra. You get some bonus stuff within each of these tiers. You get an A4 sized poster, which is half the size of the A3, a little bit bigger than the standard size of a comic book. It comes signed by both Corey and I, and you get the digital version on top of that, featuring the cover art of the particular tier that you've gone for.
Yeah.
Stop.
It's okay. You can back it now if you want. It's fine.
No, my mouse is I gotta like double click to like keep it from moving. It's computer's older than my kids, so
it's okay. It's happened to all of us, that clicking on the tier accidentally and then having to hit the back button.
Yeah.
All right, so whoops, dang it. Oh, I guess did I jump ahead of a bunch of stuff?
Look, we've got a bunch of. You can buy all of the editions on their own, and they're all the same price, $25 USD. We've got the line art version there. We've got the Kanan White variant cover, which is a new addition to the campaign. We put that up and announced it about halfway through at the first lot of 30 days. And we did that because, of course, we wanted to increase the hype and excitement for Kozor. But also on top of that, we're huge fans of Kanan's work ourselves. And I knew Kanan from back in the day. Since I was a teenager, I was hitting him up on DeviantArt, asking him for advice on my own stuff. And so things have really come full circle now. And here he is doing up a cover for our very first comic book. It's surreal. It's one of the very, very many things that actually make this such a magical experience for Corey and I.
Yeah.
Kanan was actually Mark, John and I met on the Rob Liefeld boards back in the mid to late 20 aughts or whatever.
Yeah.
Kanan was on there. The Graveyard Shift colorist, Anthony George was on there. Ben Jones was on there. There's probably tons of people I'm forgetting, but I mean, so many people that like now we're all like working with, or we see working with other people. It's just so neat to see somebody that you know or that you knew, and they're doing amazing stuff.
That's awesome, man.
Oh man, I love this page. This is, I love the kind of Lovecraftian-ness of it. Like just all that detail is just so cool. And the bug coming out of whatever.
It's really interesting. Like Corey has a knack for designing hideous-looking creatures of the underworld. Corey, where do you get your inspiration from, man? Seriously, even I'm disturbed.
I don't know, man. It's just fun to draw something ghastly once in a while, you know? Fun to drawing monsters, you know?
Is this what you think about when you go to bed at night?
Yeah, man. Probably. I mean, Berserk was a pretty big influence, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's for some reason it's fun to draw nice looking women with big ghastly monsters. I don't know why, you know.
Yeah. They contrast one another in a very complimentary way, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the variant combo, the definitive in black and white.
Yep.
And we got the definitive edition plus the variants.
Yeah, you actually get a discount on that tier, by the way. So you'll get each of the books for cheaper at $70 USD. You get the posters, of course, I think, and yeah, they're all signed as well by us. So really great value. We've tried to keep the shipping as minimal as possible on all of the packages that we're sending out, as minimal as we can keep it when it comes to shipping to the US from Australia.
Yeah.
That's just so amazing. And then this one looks like it's everything.
Yeah,
Holy
so
buckets.
this is a really special tier, actually. So you get 4 different books there. The first one is the definitive edition. Second one is the definitive edition, but with Corey's variant. You get the black and white line art edition, but then you also receive a special edition original version of Kozor, Descent into Madness.
Oh, wow.
And I
That's
can
the
share
original.
something. I can share something with you right now. Corey's holding up the original right there. It's
And you get the sketch too.
Hold on, let me let's see. Hold on.
So this one's going to be more finished.
I need to
You
make
know.
you bigger. And then I'm gonna make
there's a little square
broke
up
it.
in his window that you can click
Aha.
onto.
ta-da!
There we go.
I did a thing.
There you go. So yeah, you'll get probably my best sketch I can do for you.
Nice.
Like
Yeah,
I'm worried
it's-
that John Malin will be judging it, so I'll make sure everyone's good.
As long as there's nipples on it, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
That's all he cares
Yeah.
about.
that looks
And
like
then-
more of a finished pencil drawing, Corey, than a sketch.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
This is kind of like the original Kozor you'll get.
Well,
it'll
it
be
is the
more like
original
comic book,
Kozor.
So
Oh wow.
yeah. Like the
Yeah.
first
So, where did the name come from? Did you guys just make that up, or was it based on something?
Yeah, so as a kid, Clayton liked to call me Koza, Koza. It was like a nickname,
His
right?
nickname, yeah.
But when I googled that, it like meant goat in some other language. So a bunch of like goats popped up in Google. So I had to like change the lettering to sound the same.
So you were going to call it Koza initially,
Yeah.
but then we called it Kozor, and I helped you come up with that. I remember. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to take credit here or anything.
Not to
but
say Kozor, the character in the book, is really based on me, but
Well,
he looks
look at
like you.
Look at it this way. I mean, if he inadvertently called you goat, I mean, over here that means greatest of all time. So he's just being prophetic, That's all that is.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go,
And
Corey.
from what I've seen, you're on your way. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I can't even remember whose stream it was on when I first saw you guys talk about Kozar, and I saw some of the art, and I was just like, done. I'm not even gonna try because it just looked so amazing and so detailed, and
Thanks,
just
man.
just looked wicked, and everything that, I mean, for as much as like Mark and I are like, we're bringing back 90s action, and I mean, you guys are bringing back like the 90s dark goth horror, like
Yeah.
no punches pulled kind of book that, like I was telling your brother Clayton, I could totally see this as a Top Cow book, like the late 90s Top Cow books like Ascension and Darkness.
Thanks, man.
And all that stuff, because it has that vibe, and it's remarkable to look at. And people are
Yeah.
smart, and I know they are, because I mean, they're buying our stuff. So everybody should buy a regular edition of Kozar, but they should also buy the line art edition, just so they can drool over all that beautiful stuff. And I was telling your brother,
Yeah.
I had to ask him. I was like, the difference between digital and traditional, and I couldn't tell the difference. And usually I can see there's like little tells with people who do digital that I can go, okay, that's digital. I could not tell
Yeah.
at all for either of you guys. It blew my mind. So you got me fooled. I mean, I am pretty dumb, but you got me fooled. So.
That's good. I mean, like,
Amazing work.
We want it to look traditional, so that's a really good thing. And Corey, I don't even know if you've been doing digital as long as I have, because I remember a time when you were drawing on paper and inking on paper.
Yeah. Like,
I guess that was a while ago now, though.
When I first started digital, it was on like the old, like normal tablets Clayton does, but I couldn't do that whole screen and not looking at your hand. Like, it's too weird.
Yeah.
So I eventually got like the Surface Pro, which is like a screen tablet.
Yeah.
And that, it's practically traditional, but it's digital.
Yeah. I've looked into that stuff, but it's with 4 kids, there's no way I can drop a couple G's for a tablet. So I'll keep killing the rainforest and buying paper. But if I could, I would. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm still using a prehistoric tablet that I've had for over a decade now, and it works like a charm. It works like a charm still. I've mastered it. I'm uncomfortable drawing on with pencil and paper now. So that's how accustomed I've become to the digital workflow.
Yeah.
So Corey, how does it feel, like something you've worked so long on, the reaction you've gotten for the book?
Yeah, like it's pretty crazy. Like, it was pretty weird at first, I guess, but it's like in a weird way I got used to it. But I mean, like at first, like I've almost completed issue 2. Like, I was just mainly doing it for myself in a way, or to show Clayton. I'm like, draw some hot fantasy woman and some monsters or something, and hopefully something came of it, and that actually did.
Yeah.
We would like to think there was some deeper meaning to Kozor, but it's really just hot fantasy chicks and monsters that have that lay at the core of this story.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
I mean, that was that as bread and butter. So monsters and hot chicks.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy to actually like meet people like John Malin. I think we met like David Finch on one stream as well. So it's like stuff I wouldn't have thought of before.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing to meet people like Mark and Mike as well.
Yeah, definitely.
We've talked to you a few times now, Mark, and had you over on the channel. And at this point, it feels like we're old friends catching up to have a chat. So, and the really great thing is we're all here creating kick-ass comic books together. It's like it's such a childlike dream that we're living right now. And sometimes I just sit back and I think, man, how is it that I ended up in a place in my life where I can wake up and draw comic books every day? Like, it's pretty damn amazing, and it's a privilege to be able to do it, to hang out with fellow creators, and to have seen this much success on our first debut with Kozor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and they say campaigns, when you do your second one, you're going to do double. I mean, that's just the trend. So,
well, it does seem to be
crazy.
Especially looking at Ethan and what he has achieved with Cyberfrog and Graveyard Shift 3, which of course, Mark, you were a big part of, being the writer of that story.
It's amazing just seeing like Graveyard Shift go from like 100,000 and then 170 and now like over $250,000. It's crazy. It's something I would never fathomed. I mean, it's like I mean, I can relate to Corey because Graveyard Shift was a book that John and I created 8 years ago, or actually 10 years ago, and it took 8 years to get it to come out. So there was times when I thought, oh, this is just something John and I are doing that we'll never see the light of day, except for maybe some friends. But it's amazing what can happen.
Yeah, and it's so crazy too. Just like, did you ever think when you like went to John and said, okay, I got this idea, Universal Monsters meets the X-Men, and then John said yes, did you ever think you would be here from that point. I mean,
Oh,
it's nuts.
I thought we would publish it through an indie publisher and make no money. So, I mean, that's sort of what that's how comics is. I mean, mainstream comics anyway. You put your heart and soul into a project, and your reward is seeing it printed. You don't really financially get rewarded. So
Yeah.
I'll gladly wait 8 years to finally get get whatever like every artist deserves. I mean, to get the proper compensation for their hard work and all their blood, sweat, and tears, man.
It's one of those things.
And Mark's got his empire sitting behind him, so
Brilliant.
his empire of books, which is next year probably going to double. So you're going to need a bigger shelf.
I'll need more shelving.
Yeah. Creating a comic book is just one of those long-term investments where you don't always see an immediate reward for the amount of time that you put into something. But I think that the best determiner for success is just to keep on moving forward regardless of that, because as you said, Mark, Graveyard Shift is just something that has been years in the making. And now, of course, we can look at it and we can say, wow, this book has achieved monumental success. It's competed with some of the biggest titles in the mainstream industry.
Yeah.
And so this is something that you've been working toward, and not everybody gets to see all the time that has been spent to actually get to that end game, to get to that point where you've been able to be one of the top successful creators within Comicsgate. And so, and now it's just the snowball is building up more and more. You're gaining momentum, but you had to start from somewhere. And so I guess, anyone who's setting out to create a comic book, you've got to be in it for the right reasons. It can't be about the money. It can't be about the success to begin with. It's got to be about the passion that you've got to share your stories with the rest of the world. And if your heart is in the right place, there's every guarantee in the world that you're going to get there eventually. That there will be, where there's a will, there's a way. And
pay your dues, make your way. I mean,
totally.
Yeah.
It's funny. I saw Eddie Winkler's comment before. That is a question I used to get all the time when I was focused on creating courses for howtodrawcomics.net is, Clayton, what titles have you worked on? Where are your comic books? And it's funny because I always had to kind of explain, look, I'm creating tutorials, I'm creating courses. That's how my time is being spent, and I'm learning a lot. But I actually don't have a lot of comic books under my belt because of the fact that's where all my time has gone. So now, entering into my 30s, for the next decade or 2 or 3, that's exactly where my attention will now be, is actually creating comic books, because I'm very confident after all of those years of teaching and learning myself that I've brought my skill to a level where I'm able to do that to a degree where I'm happy with what I'm seeing in the work that I'm putting out, and I feel like there was so much learning that I did over my 20s that if I had have created a comic book back then, I'd be looking back on it now and just cringing big time. I'm sure every artist can relate with that.
I'll embarrass myself. So this was my first comic book that I ever did back in 95.
Wow, man. You've been at it for a while, huh?
And it's garbage, but so this was also colored by a guy that's colorblind, so he was the writer. Look at that! Look at that old school Photoshop. Ooh,
nice, very fancy. I like the special effects.
The second one, which I'll just real quick because this is about you, not me. Yes, this is my homage to Mark Silvestri, Cyberforce. So my love of Top Cow is I used to have the jacket that had Rip Claw on the back. I was a huge Top Cow mark.
Yeah,
I actually
was really cool.
a Chicago show just to get the special release of an issue of Hunter Killer. And so I drove all the way up there. It's like 3-hour drive, and they didn't have any. They're like, it's not here yet. We don't know if it's going to be here. I'm like, dude, I just came just to get the exclusive. So like, wait, it was like 5 o'clock Sunday, and it showed up, and I grabbed. I'm such an idiot, but I love my art. Can't help it. I love Silvestri. But yeah, totally, everybody comes from somewhere. Everybody starts. I mean, that's a huge gap from where I am now, because I stopped drawing for about 10 years. I had kids, tried to do school a couple times and whatnot. And, Mark is like the catalyst to getting me back into this. And over the last 10 years, it started with a pinup that I did for him when we were on the Liefeld boards. And, you never know where something is going to take you, and, for all those people saying that you should be drawing comics, Clayton, you really need to be doing more. I mean, you and your brother are just, a dynamic duo, and I think you guys could be unstoppable. It's just so amazing. You guys have such great work, and I'm going to shut up. Mark?
No, thank you, man.
You take it.
No, man. Yeah, their work is fantastic. It's always great to discover new talent, and now with Comicsgate, I've discovered Clayton, his brother Corey. These guys are superstars in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate that so much. And yeah, a lot of people have said that to us, and it makes us excited to create these comic books and put our best foot forward. And just the idea of what kind of books are within us just waiting to come out is an exciting proposition for us. So we're going to work hard at it. We're going to build up our little Barton Bros studio, which consists of just me and Corey at the moment. And who knows where it will lead. I know that a lot of us creators are definitely looking to expand our resources and our studios as much as possible to be able to put out a greater number of books. And I think that is just a sign of what is to come. And I believe that the comic book industry is definitely changing and evolving right now, and that it will be reborn in a very different way. And I think that one of the biggest changes that it's going through is the transition from physical comic book stores into online crowdfunding libraries, where people have all around the world, regardless of whether or not they live in a rural country area or in a big city. And if they live in a country that doesn't really necessarily have a whole lot of access to comic book stores, they're able to find our books online. It's the one thing that connects all of us. And the great thing about it is we're able to easily communicate with our readers, get feedback from them, ask them where they think our characters should go in the next issue, and really create something that satisfies their need for excitement and enthrallment. So, that's our intentions. I'm sure it's your intentions too, Mark, just looking at the titles that you've got under your belt thus far.
Yeah, no, the greatest lesson I ever learned in comics was back in 2012. I was, scripting Hawkman for DC Comics. I was writing Evangeline for Image Comics, and I thought it was like the pinnacle of my career. And then Evangeline got canceled, and I wasn't expecting it, but I was like, I still got Hawkman. And then Hawkman ended, and I had nothing ready, and I was like, this will never happen again. I always need to have another project going. And when Graveyard Shift 2 fulfilled, not only did I have Graveyard Shift 2 fulfilling, I had Sea Dog, US Assassin. It was such a great experience seeing people getting like 5 new books from me on the same day books were arriving. So it's amazing. Cool. And yeah, I'll never stop. I tell my wife I can't say no to a project because I want to have something in it on the back burner.
Right. And there's so much coming from Mark.
I was wondering for you guys. So this book is pretty much. Is it safe to say it's finished? Like, as far as like turning it around to backers?
Yeah, totally. So, as I said, the original version is complete, which means all we've got to do now is go back in over the top and revamp the line art, revamp the colors. Now, in order to do that, it can take anywhere from a few hours to a day, depending on what needs to be actually changed on the page. Corey has done a brilliant job already. And so the amount of work that I need to do isn't all that much. It's just about prettying up what's already there. And the wonderful thing about it is that Corey has already established the composition of these panels. He's already designed the characters, set up the lighting scheme. And so I don't really have to think about that stuff necessarily when I go over the top and do the finishes. I'm more in a headspace where, is this anatomy looking correct? Are the proportions in check? Could this pose be tweaked slightly in order to get across the narrative in more of the proper context that Corey was initially intending? And in fact, I can show you a Photoshop document here and share my screen if you like, just illustrating some of the changes we've actually made to the book. So I've shared my screen with you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yep, there we go. So this is the updated page. This is what people are going to see in the default definitive edition of Koza or Descent into Madness. The Corey's original version actually looked a little bit more like this. Okay, and you can see the difference, right? It's still the same idea. It hasn't been changed in a huge way, but it definitely has been enhanced. And so what you get is, of course, now the female's anatomy has been tweaked and polished up to resemble something a little bit more alluring. And that just involved me going in and double checking the anatomy. Even the way in which the character's heads are turned are now facing the proper direction, focusing in on the character that we see in the background, Chief Barron. Now, Chief Barron himself, of course, has had some significant changes. His entire costume has been up-res, essentially, to convey a little bit more accuracy as to how his design actually looks, but in this particular page. And then the background, of course, has also had its contrast balanced out so that the focus is really brought in on Chief Barron and the foreground characters. And this is really an example of line art that I just went over the top of, and I fixed it up a little bit. I redrew part of it, but this panel down here was actually completely redone, right? And even though the original panel looked fine, we've got this angry and enraged looking expression in his eyes, there are a few things that I wanted to adjust. And so in this new version of the eye panel, what we get is still that look of anger in his eyes, but also a little bit more fear. And that's exactly what's going on here in the narrative, is that there should be that sense of fear as he's looking up at these creatures and wondering what the heck is going to happen next. What are these foul beasts? And so the narrative has even been ever so slightly redirected into something that falls more within Corey's vision and what he had intended. And luckily, Corey has been very happy with what I've done over the top of his original art. I hope that I've done his story justice. And he hasn't told me, Clayton, what the hell are you doing here? This isn't what I wanted at all.
It's been pretty good so far.
It's just awesome. It's almost like I hope this. God, I really don't want this to come off as offensive, but you guys are like, what you're doing now is like the modern day version of what a penciler and a finisher would do. Yeah. Like, you would have an artist lay down something, and then you'd have because honestly, Clayton, you are more experienced, correct, than
For
Corey?
sure, yeah.
So basically,
I can draw better now.
Corey can draw better now, yeah.
Well, yeah.
He's learning. He's learning
Just
a lot.
wait until issue 3; it'll be the best.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you because I'm on that same journey myself. Issue
Yeah.
one of U.S. Assassin was, but it's going up. So, so I'm with you on that. But I mean, to me, I was like, man, this is the modern day version of that.
Totally,
Yeah.
An artist and a finisher, and it's just really cool how in sync you guys can get, because I mean your styles aren't like drastically different from each other to where they clash. They
No.
I don't know. I don't know if that's from being brothers and being around each other all the time, or I don't know, but it's really cool. I dig it.
Well, we're influenced by very similar people. So we both really love the artwork of David Finch. We're huge fans of Mark Silvestri and Michael Turner. And so because our influences are very similar, we're able to capture a fairly consistent style. And this is one of the very special things about working on Kozor with Corey, is that it's been a true Barton Bros collaboration. We've got this beautiful hybrid that consists of both our styles. And I've got to tell you, man, like, I've become a huge fan of Kozor, more so than I was before, to the point where I want to do a spin-off or something. And I really love working with Corey in this way because I'm a notoriously slow artist for multiple reasons. One of the reasons for that, obviously, is because of the intense detail that I add to my artwork. But working with Corey in this way, it's a much faster process for me for some reason. I think because I'm overthinking it a little bit less, and so I'd love to work on with Corey in future projects, future comic books. I think that we could do some really great things together. Of course, I've got my own ideas as well. I've got an upcoming independent title of my own that I'll be jumping full throttle into next year called Renegade Alpha. It's a sci-fi action, lots of monsters, and very similar to movies like Alien and RoboCop and that sci-fi action from the 80s that we all loved and still cherish till this day. So we got a lot of great things planned. By the time we're fulfilling Kozor Descent into Madness, Corey would have finished issue 2 and be on to issue 3. So he's been working away at this story on his own without seeing any reward for it. And all that's been fueling him is the passion that he has for the world of Kozor and getting these stories out. He has no choice. He's got it.
That's like
the artwork and just printing the comic for myself was reward enough back then. So,
I speaking, I haven't had anything printed. Well, I mean, I've done some little stuff here and there over the last 20 years, but man, when John and Mark sent me a preview copy or a advanced copy of U.S. Assassin, man, I was just a blubbering child because it'd been so long working on it, and so I mean, it just seemed like it was never going to come, and then it was there, and man, that because I think by the time the fulfillment stopped for what was it? Yeah, by the time fulfillment stopped on Graveyard Shift 2, I was already on to Volume 3. I mean, it just you have to keep that passion. You have to keep. I mean, I love my character, the characters Mark and I have created as much as, I mean, I know you guys love yours. And I think those are the people that are going to succeed in the indie scene and in CG and whatever anyone wants to call themselves. But, don't go into this. Money has a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Anywho, you go into this because you love comics.
Man.
Money is a side note that if it happens. And if it happens, somebody's vibrating. If it happens, big, it's because people get the passion that you guys have. Oh, Mike turned orange. It's and. Everybody, I think I haven't seen really a campaign not do decent. There are some campaigns personally I feel should do better, just because it's so amazing. I mean, I think you guys should be double what you are now. That's just my personal opinion, because you guys, the work is there and the passion is there, and I'm really envious, because you have this work relationship with your brother, and I would have killed to have that growing up. Being able to collaborate. Like, my dad was a cartoonist. I could never get him to collaborate on anything with me. But I mean, I think it's so great. I think it's a great story that, I think additionally brings people into the book Kozor because of you two. And, it's really cool. It's really amazing. I hope everybody really kicks in these last probably now 31 hours, and donate. And you guys are going in demand, possibly?
We want to be completely transparent about that. We're going to be going into in demand once the campaign ends. And the reason that we want to do that is because, hey, look, we get it. Our paychecks don't always come through on time either. Sometimes there's bills to pay, and they're more expensive than other months. You got to pay for rent, you got to pay for the groceries and that kind of thing. And sometimes, you've been saving your pennies up to buy something else, like a new graphics card for your PC or something like that. And so
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we wanted to make sure that anybody who is at least a little bit interested in Kozor and wanted to bookmark it or keep it open in a tab for a later time had every opportunity in the world to jump on board and back the comic book at their own convenience. Of course, we would love people to jump on board right now and back the book as much as possible before the campaign ends, because that's a huge achievement for us to have received the level of support that we have done so at this point. But again, at the same time, we're going to keep this in demand for a few months, and so you've still got a chance to jump on board if you're waiting for payday.
Because I was looking at it and I was like, man, Mark and I have we each independently approached artists to do covers for our book, and I just paid my last payment to the guy I have coming in. And so when this all came, I was looking through, I was like, why haven't, because I could have swore I've already backed it, but I didn't. So for me, because I'm an idiot, I'm glad you're going in demand, which means, because I am going to get it. I'm totally going to get it.
Thanks, man.
And if I have to buy just a crap ton of Starbucks for my wife, I'm going to get the one that has the line art edition too.
Dude, yeah. You're going to love it too. Like, you will not be disappointed, man. When you're actually holding this thing in your hands, it's worth it.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for it. So.
Yeah, it looks so amazing. And see, that's what's great, when even the creators are excited for it. I mean, a lot of people are like, yeah, it's coming out, I can't wait for everyone. I mean, to me, that's something extra special when even the creators are just like, man, I can't wait to see it. That's just that's the passion. That shows, man. It's so great. It's so awesome. Do we want to go through I doubt we've had any movement because my channel's really small, but
it's okay. People will see the video.
Jump over to Mandy here soon. That is not what I need to do.
I wanted to ask, how many volumes do you guys have planned for this?
Well, so the first graphic novel is going to be like 10 issues in it, or maybe more now because I keep coming up with ideas. But I want to make it a big series. Inspired a lot by Berserk, which is like 30 volumes I've got. So who knows how big it'll be one day? But I want to keep going. So,
well,
that's great.
It hasn't moved since you guys have been on here. Sorry, but I mean, hopefully
it's
fine.
Somebody maybe will come across it and see it and be like, oh, cool. Because I mean, it's just like, this is just so badass.
It is, right?
It's like it almost reminds me a little bit of like the Heavy Metal magazine.
Yeah, just a lot of people have said that.
How like wild and weird it is, and there's a close up of Kanan's cover.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love how he integrated the skull and the moon. That is wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a preview of the black and white version as well down here, if you haven't already seen that.
Oh goodness.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just had a nerd. Yeah,
totally.
man, that is such a fan of other artists. I'm glad like this is happening now because in my 20s I'd see art like this. I would literally be like, I quit. There's no way. But man, this is like the fuel. This is the fuel
Yeah.
that other artists need. I think. I mean, just
Absolutely, man.
all that detail. It's like Finch meets McFarlane. It's
Thank
very
you.
very cool. It's super,
Yeah.
super cool, man. Gosh, I'm gonna stop gushing.
Well, we really appreciate it, man. And like, all the variant covers that we've got here, the black and white edition, the default version, when this goes to print and we're holding it in our hands for the first time, I think that I'm pretty sure we're going to have a very similar experience to you, Mike, when you finally got a hold of US Assassin, because it is something special. And I agree with what you were saying about the whole money aspect. The thing is that
Yeah.
money isn't that hard to make. You can make money doing almost anything. There's a billion different ways to make money,
If
and
you go
certainly
chasing it, you won't get it.
exactly.
If
And
you
there's
chase your passion, then you'll get it.
Yeah, there's certainly easier ways to make money than chasing your passion, making comic books. But I think that that money is going to come anyway. Like as long as you just keep on going, and maybe you got to do a day job at the same time, and or have a side business or whatever it is. That's what How to Draw Comics is for me. Luckily, is a side business that brings in a majority of the income that I've got to work with, but. It's one of those things where for a long time as a comic book creator, you've got to have that backup plan. And I think eventually, I wouldn't even say it's luck. I think that it's a little bit of luck. It's a little bit of making the moves strategically that you need to make in order to realistically do what you love each and every day while still being financially stable. But I truly believe that everybody can get there. And it starts off slow and it's difficult. But once you get the ball rolling, which I feel like, Mark, you're definitely starting to do, if you haven't already, things get easier and it gains momentum. And more titles come out as you're able to afford additional talent to create them. And before you know it, you've got your own little indie publisher happening. And yeah.
Mark will have an empire before this. I'm going to get him a black Sith robe and some red and yellow contacts. He's going to be like the emperor of CG.
For
Look at
sure.
all my books. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Except he's way better looking than the emperor, but whatever.
He's a handsome fellow.
He is. All right. Let's see. We're at like 53 minutes. I know you guys
Great.
go on probably like in 5 minutes with Mandy. So is there any last minute things you guys want to talk about before we end this and get you guys over to her? Because I know she's got a much bigger platform than we do. But
Look, for starters, thanks so much for having us on today, Mike and Mark. It's a pleasure as always to chat with you guys, and we got to get you on our channel a little bit more often because I really do enjoy hanging out. And if you're a fan of dark fantasy, medieval horror, you enjoy video games like The Witcher or Dark Souls, if you like TV series such as Game of Thrones and movies like Lord of the Rings, if you like comic book titles like Berserk or Conan, then I highly suggest you check out Kozor because this is going to be right up your alley. You will not be disappointed. The detail within the artwork that Corey has created for the book that I've helped to enhance is on another level. You'll be able to look at it for hours. You'll absolutely love it, and you will not be disappointed when you're holding this book in your hands. We're as excited as the next person to finally see this in proper comic book form. So, join the hype, succumb to the madness, and back Kozor today.
Yeah. To me, it's like Conan meets H.P. Lovecraft, man. It's
hell yeah, man. That's exactly it.
Chocolate and peanut butter, man. Just so awesome. Corey, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm just pretty thankful for being on as well. I'm a pretty big fan of both you and Mark, I guess. Like you also say,
Thanks.
Assassin
Thank
looks
you.
pretty cool.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
You're pretty
That's
awesome.
Hell yeah. Well, you guys keep smashing it, and Mike, your art is amazing. Mark, so are you available, Mark? Are you for writing gigs? I thought you'd be busy as
Yeah,
hell.
man. I can't say no to that's my weakness. I can't say no, man. So
Mhm.
if you're
Cool,
thinking about something, just hit me up.
Definitely. It's good to know that because I'm thinking about it. I'm
Yeah.
making plans. So yeah. Either way, thanks so
Empire.
much, guys.
All right, thank you, and thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Eddie Winkler for coming in and apparently being our only fan. I appreciate it. So
Thanks,
we'll see
Eddie.
you guys later. Head over to Mandy's channel because the Barton brothers are going to be there. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, thanks.